And we are live. We are live. We are live. Hello, everyone. It's DebraSue, Glass City Talent with Toledo to the World with DebraSue. And we are on tonight to talk about a very important organization that's vital to the landscape of Toledo, Ohio. I happen to have the executive director with me tonight. I'm going to introduce you to her. I'm going to wait a few minutes here just for a few people to pop on because I really want everyone who is able to not only tune in with us, but I want you to invite your neighbors. I want you to invite anybody that you know to tune in to this podcast tonight and take a good listen because we are talking about an organization that has been existing in Toledo for many, many years, actually. And many of you know this organization by something totally different than what it is today, but the principle and the foundation and the operation of the company and the organization is still the same. So I'm going to give you all a few minutes. Let's get some tune-ins here. I want everyone to join in. I want everybody to invite their neighbors. And if you have any questions, please do feel free to put them in the comment box because I can see them right from where I am and I'll share with the general audience. I want to say again, it's DebraSue, Glass City Talent with Toledo to the World in the studio of Glass City Talent. And we are broadcasted not just on Facebook, but we are also on YouTube as well as Instagram and other platforms. And I'd like for you to tune in. I'm going to go ahead and get started then because we got a couple of folks tuning in right now. So as I said, I'm introducing a young lady who's the executive director of a longstanding Toledo organization called Leading Families Home. Now, the organization, when it was first, when most known as, I should just say that, okay, it is initially known as Focus, right, Jennifer? It was known as Focus. And
housing was Focus and the shelter part was Beach House.
And the shelter house was Beach House. And so I think that's what most people know it as, is Beach House. And with me tonight is the executive director of Leading Families Home / Beach House. This is Jennifer Jacobs, everyone. Help me welcome her to my hot seat tonight. Happy to have you here, Jen. I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to know you, girl. I am in awe of what you do. I am absolutely in gratitude of what you do, as so many other people are, because you are leading up an organization that is doing phenomenal things in Toledo for the people who need it the most, for folks who need it the most. And so what I want to do, Jen, is let's go ahead first and introduce our audience by introducing who Jennifer Jacobs is. Are you Toledo native or are you from a different, or Toledo born?
Oregon, born and raised. Same thing. It's right on the outskirts. So
okay, yeah, same thing. You're a Toledo gal. Okay, that works. Okay, Jennifer, first of all, before we get into what you do, how about you tell me what walked you down this path to want to help individuals that are in need of help, homeless individuals, and like what led you to this path?
DebraSue, first, I want to thank you for having me on here. And, as nerve-wracking as this is for me, I'm really happy to be here, though, and to tell our story. So as far as what got me into this field, I don't really know. It was almost like something I was just, from the time I was little, it's always been something I was interested in. I don't, when I was little, I always used to tell my mom, I want to be a teacher. I want to help homeless people, and I want to work with children who are in the system. And I've said it from the time I was little, and I just have been really lucky. I've been able to do all of those things. And now with where we are now, we're doing all of it in one location. So that's really exciting for me. I actually, with a couple girls from work back when I worked at the ranch, and they're no longer in business, so I can say this now. We used to, at the end of the night, we'd take all the food off the buffets, stick it outside the emergency exit door, and then we would go downtown and we would feed the people instead of throwing away that food. Which restaurants make you do. We would just feed everybody, and I was doing that with a couple girls from work, and then it turned into, I would go to the grocery store and make a bunch of sandwiches, and we'd go down to where Portside, it used to be Portside down there. In the gazebo, there were so many people who would stay down there, so many of the unhoused. And I don't know, I can't really say there was any one thing. It was just always something I was interested in, and it's never left me. That passion's still there.
That's absolutely amazing. Now, are you from a family of philanthropists? Is it something your mom and your dad did, or is it something that you kind of have lived the experience?
Not so much when I was growing up. They both were working a lot and getting their careers going. But then my mom really turned into, she really got into the nonprofit world, and she did a lot with Silver Rose for Vietnam vets. She was the director of that for a long time, which is a nonprofit. She does some work now for Oregon's health and wellness. So she does some nonprofit stuff now. And she actually volunteered with us and did some finance work with us for a while. When we were in between, we needed staff. So she doesn't. And, both my parents have always just given, they've always given to people who are in need. But yeah, so now my mom's got some nonprofit experience as well. So.
Yeah, you have a good foundation. You're from a family of givers, and they didn't object to your doing it. So it doesn't surprise me that that's what you're doing now. So kudos to your parents, because they raised an awesome daughter.
Thank you. They're pretty amazing. I'm blessed, and I think.
Yeah. So Jennifer, let's talk about Leading Families Home. Let's talk about its origin first, and then we'll talk about the current operations.
Okay. It was established actually in 1921, so we are over 100 years old. It has changed names throughout the years, but really overall, it's the focus has been on the at-risk population. At one time, it was known as a house for wayward girls. That was the term that was given. And then one of the shelters, which is located on Erie Street, which is in the Vistula community, Beach House itself, that house was given to us by Helen Beach. That was her family house. So that's what the house was actually named after. So yeah, it's, again, like I said, we've evolved throughout the years, but really the overall mission has really stayed the same. We've been lucky and fortunate enough to add different aspects to it, to build it, to make it bigger than what it once was. But overall, it's had a very strong foundation, and I hope to keep growing that piece and bring as much to it as we possibly can.
So Helen Beach donated the house, right? And that's where the facility was for years. But you kind of outgrew that space, right? Because it became there has always been, but there's really a very strong need for housing, but in particular for women and children who need housing, our most vulnerable folks in society. So you now not just have that one, because that's your historic site as it stands right now, but what about your second site?
So a year ago, we were able to open up another site on Ashland, and it's right between Bancroft and Collingwood there. And it was actually an old retired nursing home at one point. We did a lot of remodeling and refurbishing and got it open about a year ago. And we have been packed full ever since. So it's well needed. Lucas County has a long waiting list, unfortunately, of people who are waiting to get into shelter, and then, further we take them into housing up further. But it was long waited. We can serve a total of 96 people between the two locations. So and we've been full. So even through the summer months, we were full. So that's a little concerning coming up into the winter months, when the we're like, oh no, we had to put people in the living room. I don't know. We're trying to figure out what we can do to get as many people.
Well, let me ask you this, Jen. Being that you are a very necessary entity, how do you differentiate Leading Families Home / Beach House / Focus, all those entities wrapped into one now, Leading Families Home? How do you differentiate this organization from other homelessness organizations?
Well, I think everybody's overall mission is the same. We all want to help people, right? We want to get people off of the street, but Leading Families Home is different when we offer behavioral health services, employment services, substance abuse services, classes. We work closely with Lucas County Children's Services, and then we also take them from our two shelters. We have a rapid rehousing program, a permanent supportive housing program. The difference between the rapid rehousing and the permanent supportive is rapid rehousing is, we assist for up to 2 years. Then we offer 6 months of case management after that to help keep them on their feet. Permanent supportive is lifelong. So, we're a little bit of an anomaly, where we do have all these pieces in one and wrapped up in our location. So all of these services we provide in-house.
Hmm. I think the other thing that I found was extremely unique about Leading Families Home is that you are not just a sleepover shelter, a shelter for tonight or tomorrow, but you are actually an organization that helps individuals find permanent housing. And until they do, you kind of help them along, right?
Yes. Yep. We provide full wraparound services. So from the minute that they enter our doors, we offer assistance with social workers, we have caseworkers. We have them. They're pretty wrapped up when they first come in. Obviously the first thing that we're worried about is let's get you some food, let's get you comfortable. Then let's get your intake taken care of and get you to a place where you're going to be comfortable and safe for the night. And then from there we build on and we kind of guide them along. Sometimes it's just a matter of, people need a short place to stay, to get back on their feet again. Maybe they lost a job, they just started working again, and they don't need to go into our permanent housing. That's okay. If we have to help them just get birth certificates, driver's license, whatever it is that we need to help them, hopefully avoid being homeless, that's what we're there for. So
Yeah,
we
so
spend a lot.
it's not just homing, it's not just housing, it's also programming. You guys help get the necessary programming to ensure the participant success, right? And you
Yeah.
do have a lot of success stories. I will also say that, and one of them I know for sure is a young man named Jelani. Jelani was at one time a Leading Families Home resident, if I'm not mistaken, and Jelani's doing wonderful things these days, right?
Yes, yes, he's amazing. So Jelani will tell you that we were very important in his life, but I've got to say, I think he's more important in our life. He's been very much a blessing to us. But he and his mom, just fantastic. It's a fantastic family. So not just him, his mom has even been a supporter and helping. She attends all the different functions that Jelani does too. Jelani has his Night Heart is the name of his organization, and through his musical piece and his entrepreneurship, he also, goes out and he asks other people that are, related to his organization to help out and to collect things like backpacks and so forth for us. He's been absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great story. It is a great story to listen to him. And on our website, there's a link to him. You can watch a couple of the performances that he's shared. And he's amazing. I actually went
Yeah.
to his concert
Uh-huh.
in August.
How did that come out? How was that?
It was fun. We had so much fun. I haven't been to Frankie's since I was in college. So everyone was probably like, what is this old lady doing here? But we had an absolute blast. His music was fun. He is so upbeat. He has so much energy. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, he's an amazing young man, and I kind of heard about Jelani because I do the music thing, the management part of it. And when I heard about him, and then I was surprised at an event he actually he was the speaker there, and I absolutely was taken aback by the fact that he was actually a resident of Leading Families Home, and he's turned out to be a great guy. But that speaks well of the organization itself, that you care for the children and you want to make sure that you get these kids off to a great start as well. So I really want to say this is one of the things that really sets Leading Families Home apart from other organizations. And I'm not butting an organization against the other, but I really say that there are certain qualities and certain attributes that Leading Families Home has that I just don't see necessarily in some of the organizations. So, and you are always looking for other opportunities to help people. And I think that's a wonderful thing, things that other people may not necessarily think about.
Yeah. And DebraSue, I think, a lot of it has to do with, and now I'm going to brag about my staff a little bit. But it's only because, so many of us, probably almost all of us, have lived experience that has to do with one facet or another of what we do, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's involvement with CSB, whether it's homelessness, addiction, whatever the case may be. We have so much lived experience in there. So it's, we're not just coming in textbook educated, although we've got that too, on top of the lived experience. So we had that. But, it's not just spitting out theories. It's real life experience that we had. And, how did we turn that around? How did we meet different goals? What can we do to help you and know that it's possible and to see the light? You might feel like you're in the darkest place at the moment, but it doesn't last forever, temporary problems.
Yeah, it always makes a difference when you connect with someone who's been through something very similar to what you've been through, and several members, like you say, of the staff they've gone through homelessness. They've gone through some type of an abusive relationship. They've gone through or have known someone in their family that has experienced a point in their life where they really need help from someone. And so I'm very pleased to say that I'm happy to know what you do, and I'm happy to know you, and I'm happy to see what it is that you do. So let me ask you something, because we all know that there's an environment for not-for-profits nowadays is having a problem with sustainability. How does Leading Families Home sustain itself in really a tough time, to be honest with you, economically, as well as, the competitive aspect of Toledo with regard to not-for-profits?
Right. United Way is just released a dashboard for nonprofits. And if you ever get a second to kind of get on their website and look around, it's pretty astounding. You said competition. Yeah. We have thousands and thousands of nonprofits in Toledo. Many of them are duplicate services. But again, we try to stand out, but it is tough. It's a 2020. COVID came in. COVID brought in a lot of extra need. There was a lot of funding that came in during COVID, but there was also a lot of need that came with it. So, we, along with other organizations, we continue to start to help the people who are in need with the funding that we were getting in. And then now we're at a place where that funding stops, but the need hasn't. So now more than ever, we really, really we rely a lot on the public, and we rely on anybody who wants to volunteer, different fundraisers that we're doing. Of course, we do rely on grant funding, but grants aren't a guarantee.
Right.
They're not a guarantee. It's what's available and offered, and what you're fortunate enough to get. So we really, really, really depend on our donors and our funders. And we have people like Sandy Fox and Carla Prinkert and even Jelani. We have board members, just people who are constantly helping out and never hesitate. They don't blink an eye. They're always ready and willing and show up with our needs. We have fantastic people.
And that's very, very important to reiterate that again, because I'm going to look in the camera right now and ask anyone that is watching. We're not just talking dollars and a dollar and penny nickel dime organization here. Okay. It takes millions of dollars, millions of dollars to help take care of individuals in need here in Toledo, Ohio, in Lucas County. It takes millions of dollars. Okay. So you get a whole handful of people that are trying to care for almost 100 participants, including children, some folks that are on the run from violent situations, some people who are down on their luck, some people who have jobs and maybe, for example, with COVID, they have jobs, but, they've been evicted because they can't pay the rent because their hours were cut. Okay. So this organization is $1 million organization that relies on your donations.
Yes.
Okay. Relies on your donations, and while grants and everything are, part of the sustainable aspect of this organization, they're getting far and few in between. In 2025 does not hold a whole lot of promise. That those are going to increase. And so people, if you can find it in your heart, not just for those who are listening on the different platforms that we're across, because right now I think some folks are watching on Facebook, but we're also on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Roku. I implore you to please look into your heart and to see if there is a way that you can give to this particular organization to help them sustain and their cause, because their cause is completely out of it's a heartfelt cause. No one is making $1 million. Okay. No one's making $1 million. Everyone here is putting their time, their effort, their energy into helping someone else. Okay. So please consider that when you have, you do your wills, or if you just want to pull a couple dollars out of your pocket, or if you want to donate from your check weekly, however it is, there is a site for you to go to if you so wish to donate, which I hope that you do, but you can go to that site and you can make that donation. I'll let you take it from there, Jan.
Okay. Yeah, our website, www.lfhtoledo.org. There's different opportunities on there. So, even if it's not, let's say that, you can't afford to give a financial donation right now, or whatever the case may be. There's plenty of other things that we need, whether it's, we might need pillows or extra blankets if you have blankets. Or, there's different things that people can help out. And, it doesn't just have to be monetary. There are many different things that we're looking. Maybe you have 2 packs of extra toothbrushes that you don't need that have been in your, we'll take it. We are providing 3 meals and 2 snacks a day for all of our shelter participants. And when they come in, they get fresh bedding, brand new towels, washcloths that they get to take with them then, as they move into their house. So, that we go through a lot of these things. So, maybe somebody bought it for you, you never opened it, you didn't want it, we'll take it.
Yeah, that's also important to know. Even though they come into a fresh new bedroom or a fresh new surrounding, when they leave, they get to take their stuff with them. So there you are in need again for the next person. And there's hardly ever any downtime where you don't have someone that's looking for some type of shelter. So you need those needs immediately. Let's talk about some of the events that we have coming up, that Leading Families Home has coming up that will offer opportunity for individuals to donate or to come have a good time.
Okay. Yeah, we have so many. I had to write them down because I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to miss anything. So we have a lot going on right now. But one of them that we have is our Macy's Drive. So if you are doing any shopping at Macy's, they have a roundup program. So if you round up your dollar amount, we will get those proceeds from that. Giving Tuesday is coming up and falls on December 3rd. So now until then, we are looking for different companies to match donations that we have. We have our Winter Wonderland, which is one of our annual fundraisers that we hold. That's on December 5th, and that's at St. Clements Hall. And you can get tickets to that on our website as well. Again, that's www.elevatetoledo.org. We have, Adopt a Family. That's a big one that we have right now. We have over 50 families on that list. On our website, you can just click. There's an Amazon link that's linked up with the families, and you can help to support any of those families. Oh boy, what else? Oh, we have a partnership with Huntington Center as well, and so we can volunteer up to 10 volunteers, and then they will pay us. They will donate money to us and people that volunteer, whether it's mud hunts or hockey games, sometimes concerts. So there's organizations who get involved that way, to where if they, we've had fantastic organizations get involved. Just how can we help? What can we do? Anything like that is great. We've been very, very fortunate that we've had a lot of the mall, for example, Franklin Park Mall, sent people over. We worked the Mud Hunt Stadium with them. We had so much fun, but we received the proceeds from that too. So, we have a lot going on right now. A lot going on. Get to our website.
Absolutely. There's a lot to do immediately. So if you all go ahead and go to the website, if you can even go over to the Facebook page and you can find some of those very same opportunities there. But however you do it, it is coming up on that time of year where we all look for, the reason for the season, as they say. So if you need to find a reason for the season, and you do what you should be doing, which is giving on behalf of others, giving to others, so on others' behalf, this is a great opportunity. This is an awesome opportunity to do so. You got some wonderful people in here, and it's another way to to thank the folks that are working there, to say, hey, we see you, we hear you, and we want to support you. So Jennifer, let me we're at the 6:23 hour. We have about 7 more minutes. I know you gave a shout out to your staff. Okay. I know you gave a shout out to your board. Who else would you like to personally recognize that has been an influence in your life or a huge support to what you do?
I mentioned it briefly, but I just want to say again, Sandy Fox, Carla Prenkert, Lonnie, they've been such strong supporters, and I can't say that enough. They show up time and time again, and it's not just one time a year. It's any time that we have a need, they're there. And it's been absolutely fantastic. We have had a lot of organizations that do that for us. Taylor Automotive has been a huge support for us. I mean, I could go on and on and on. We just have so many fantastic supporters that really have stood by our side and continue to support us. We've been very, very fortunate.
That's amazing. Well, I will tell you, I'm going to shout you out. And this is why, because I do know the history of Leading Families Home / Beach House. And I know that You have been a social worker for some time now. So you've been in social work, I should say, for some time now. And you answered a call that just came to you kind of, relatively in an immediate sort of time that was quite unexpected. You put yourself in a forefront and answered a call that was necessary. You stepped in and said, hey, what can I do to help? And kind of, worked your way through this situation right now as being executive director. And that's not a small feat. That is not a small feat. Executive director carries a heavy responsibility. You have all these folks that work on your team, and it is a teamwork effort, obviously, and one thing I can say is I have worked a few places. My longest longevity was, a couple decades. And I can truly say that I have seen a group of people not like yours at all. You all work very, very closely with each other. You have a great relationship. You all have trusting relationships. And as a person who from the outside looking in, I think that has to do a lot with the leadership, to be honest with you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We're a family. And you have to see a lot of tough things day to day. We have to stick together. We have to find humor and whatever we can find humor in, because it's difficult, but we're a strong family. And I thank you for saying that.
So Jen, let me ask you something, since you see so much, because I'm a previous medical worker and I've seen a lot, in a trauma setting. How do you leave that? Do you ever leave it, or do you take it home with you?
I could say the textbook answer, which is you have to leave it at the door, but that's just not the reality. I don't know how you can be human and leave it at the door. At least I haven't figured it out in all my years. But I'll tell you, as much as it's tough and it's heartbreaking, and there's times I go home and I'm happy I only have my dogs to go home to, because they don't require me to talk much. And so there's times where I feel like that, and then there's other times where, just the other day I was at the Erie location. I was at Beach House on Erie, and I had a chance to sit and talk with some of the participants, and they had me laughing. And we have one of the women there. She's a poet. It's incredible. She's telling us, and I could have sat there all day long. And then I sit there, I'm refreshed, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling good, and so it goes up, it goes down, but overall, it's even those hard nights that make you go, yeah, I need it. This is why I'm going to go back tomorrow. As hard as it might be. But I don't know that you ever truly leave it.
Yeah, you don't. Even in your sleep,
you never for sure.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. Even when you retire, you never leave it. Honestly, it's something. You just, and honestly, I don't think you should, because I think it makes you a well-rounded person. It makes you a better person. To be honest with you, the experiences that you have gone through, traumatic wise or other, because you get all those good times in there too that kind of round everything out. So what do you do when your kids say, hey mom, you know what, this is something I want to do? Would you encourage this, or what? Or do you have them participate in functions with you now?
Well, I'll tell you what, my kids, from the time they were little, I would have them go with me for Toys for Tots and different things. And they started volunteering with me from the time they were little. I just kind of had them come along, and then they even had some of their friends come. So, they got very used to it. But I have 3 boys that are all men now. 2 of them are police officers, and 1 is an RN. So if that's not
Yeah, for sure.
They came by it naturally, whether they liked it or not. These are the people.
Well, you know what you do right now will influence them for a lifetime. Just as the same, that your mom did for you, what she did rubbed off on her children, and you guys, you've ended up almost doing something similar to what she is, and it's helping people. And so, God bless you for that. I want to say hey to Michael J. Terry. Hey, what's going on, sir? Living Families Home has Beach House has tuned in. King Jacob, thank you for watching. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate your comments as well. So listen, Jen, we are at our 6:29 hour. I thank you so very much for coming in and talking about Beach House / Living Families Home. Because I think it's a very important entity that exists in the city of Toledo, and I would love to see more of attention being given to this organization, and I love to see more of the support from our community members. And so I'm sure that it's happening, but with all the competition out there, it's tough. You just have to, as Dory says, you just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, and we'll get upstream at some point, right?
Yeah. That's the plan.
That's the plan. All right, my lady. Well, listen, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. Our half an hour went by very, very quickly. I told you that it would.
You're right. You're right.
If you didn't say anything in closing, right now is your opportunity because we are just about wrapped up, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Yeah, it does. It takes a village. So however you want to participate, we will find a way. It's time, treasure, and talent. So it's not just financial support. It's giving back the volunteering of time. We've got plenty of opportunities for anybody who would like to help. So thank you so much just for tuning in and for any support you would like to offer.
Awesome. Very good.
Thank you, DebraSue. Thank you.
So welcome. No thanks needed, lady girl. All right, everybody, listen, we're going to tune out. I'm going to say thank you for joining us for this half hour of time. You, as we say, could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. And even if you come back and watch it retroactively, I do appreciate that. I want to thank all of our supporters across all platforms for supporting Toledo to the world. We are here to talk about our city and to brag about our city to the world. But we also have individuals that we bring outside of other cities, and they come and we introduce them to Toledo and we introduce their talents to Toledo. And we're happy to have you guys on. We have some really great shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. You all make sure that you tune in here. It's every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Tune in right here at DebraSue. You can go over to YouTube at Glass City Talent / Toledo to the World, as well as Instagram, Glass City Talent Toledo to the World, and Roku as well. We're going to say good night for now. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.